Ariana Patel's breath quickened as she stood in the heart of the secret NASA facility, watching in awe as the air around her shimmered with a swirling cloud of ethereal light. The glow brightened until it enveloped her completely, choking out her own thoughts with its brilliance. Then, from within the luminous haze, emerged Naxor. His striking copper skin gleamed against the harsh fluorescent lights, his dark eyes holding a depth that felt impossibly ancient. In that moment, beneath the weight of the world's skepticism and doubt, her life fractured open, revealing the impossible. "Are you ready to understand what lies beneath your feet?" he asked, his voice a melodic pulse that resonated within her very soul. Wait, before the next revelation unfolds. If this story has already captured your heart, let us know where you're following from. To ensure you don't miss unexpected twists, emotional reconciliations, or new beginnings, subscribe and stay connected. Now, back to the story. Ariana wiped a stray tear from her cheek, a mix of wonder and disbelief. In her 5 years at NASA, buried beneath reams of data and drowning under the weight of judgment from her colleagues, she dared only to dream of this moment, brushing those visions aside out of necessity. Yet now, here was Naxor, a reminder that life refused to follow the mundane tracks she had long since accepted. The societal barriers she'd faced as a single woman in a male-dominated field felt like chains. But Naxor radiated an energy that invited her to break free, to embrace the thrill of the unknown. "What do you mean? What lies beneath?" she managed to ask, her heart racing with a mix of trepidation and excitement. He gestured toward a hidden world, and she felt a magnetic pull toward him, drawn by the mystery and warmth that danced in his gaze. "Earth holds secrets you cannot yet fathom. The core hides more than you have ever been told. Technologies, truths the government has buried deep along with old bones." A shiver coursed through her, excitement mingled with dread. Ariana swallowed hard, thinking of the cold skepticism that had turned her dreams into faint echoes. "Why me?" "Because, Ariana," Naxor said softly, stepping closer until their hands almost touched, "your heart beats in sync with the pulse of those secrets. You have the spirit of a seeker, and only together can we reveal them." His proximity sent a shock through her, sparking something she didn't dare to name. But as quickly as that warmth blossomed, another fear crept in. She was bound to the very institution that had dismissed her potential, and she could lose everything if she chose to pursue this extraordinary path with an alien being. Her mind flashed to Dr. Malcolm Huxley, her charismatic boss who had long held a nebulous power over her, his ambitions cloaked in the guise of mentorship. Revealing Naxor could alter her life in ways she couldn't predict. Would she risk it all for something that couldn't possibly last? "You must promise to keep this secret," she said, suddenly aware of the potential danger around them. "If anyone finds out—" "Then we will not allow them to," Naxor interrupted, his tone resolute, yet his expression softened, transmitting a vulnerability that matched her own. "I have journeyed through galaxies to come here, to share what I know. You could change everything." Ariana hesitated, heart racing as the weight of her reality collided with the allure of the possibilities stretching out before her like a vast, unexplored map. Just then, the heavy door to the lab creaked open, thick with authority. Its defining shake was unmistakable. Dr. Huxley strode in, his confident presence instantly diminishing the magic of the moment. A chill slithered down Ariana's spine as she swiveled her gaze between Naxor's enigmatic warmth and Huxley's predatory curiosity. "What are we discussing, Ariana?" Huxley demanded, those sharp eyes gleaming like polished knives. "Just the latest research findings," she stumbled, a pit forming in her stomach as he moved closer, taking in the alien presence just outside her personal space. "Interesting." He scrutinized Naxor, then turned his gaze back to Ariana, a knowing smirk on his lips. I hope you've been taking good notes. We can't have distractions when there's work to be done. Right, work, she murmured, feeling the tension fraying like a taut string. Even now, Huxley reminded her of the dismissive doubts of her colleagues, the weight of their gazes that had forced her to bury her dreams beneath a mountain of studies and paperwork. Once Huxley left, the air felt oppressively dense, silencing the flickering hope inside her. Tell me more about the secrets beneath, Ariana urged Naxor, clutching tightly to the sliver of excitement that remained. What do you know? What must be done? Follow me. Naxor beckoned, leading her deep into the maze of the facility. The walls pulsed with energy, heightening her senses as they delved into the abyss of the building. They entered an observation chamber where the air hummed with the possibility of discovery. It felt sacred, inviting. What's hidden here? She whispered, peering into the expanse of the lab. Diagrams floated on screens before her, intricate patterns more beautiful than anything she could conjure from her own calculations. They represent fissures, Naxor said, his voice echoing softly in the vast room. They lead to the heart of your Earth, where power lays dormant, untapped, because it's so carefully concealed by the world above. Ariana's heart thudded with excitement. What if this is true? What if this could help us tackle the climate crisis, the energy shortages? The rush of hope pushed away the burdens she carried. Naxor's gaze was steady, filled with empathy and understanding. It can, but there are forces that thrive on keeping this knowledge hidden. If we are to uncover it, it cannot be alone. I'll need you, your brilliance, your courage. I want to, she breathed, feeling overwhelmed by the burgeoning connection between them, a thread uniting their disparate worlds. Yet lingering doubts clouded her. But Huxley, he has resources. He'll try to claim this for himself, manipulate it for power. Then he must not know, Naxor said, stepping closer. He is a man of the shadows. We must move silently, together. Ariana edged closer, heart racing at the revelation that came with his words. Could she truly align herself with this mysterious force who saw her for who she really was? As she gazed into his shimmering eyes, an understanding formed. There was potential for something deeper than the science spiraling around them, a connection that defied explanation, yet felt undeniable. But as the echoes of Huxley's ambition loomed over, they also cast shadows over the fragile hope, weaving around her mind like a tightly knit web. The fear that incited her curiosity began swirling into something that could be devastating for both her and Naxor. Would revealing his existence lock her away, sealed by societal and professional confines, or could it open the door to an entirely different life? Could she risk everything for the slightest chance of what might be waiting there for them underneath the surface of both Earth and their hearts? Ariana stood frozen in a whirlwind of emotions, teetering on the precipice of a life-altering decision. Her mind raced with visions of her previous encounters with Huxley, the recklessness of ambition cloaked in charm, his drive to dominate the discoveries of others. She had heard the whispers among her colleagues, the doors he could open or close, the legs of favor he could extend or snap in moments. But Naxor covered a connection she had never imagined. An adventure steeped in the allure of the unknown pulled at her very soul. Could love entwined with destiny lead her to defy oppression? I can't just jump into this without thinking it through, she finally said, pulling back slightly. What if exposing this knowledge of yours, of us, leads to danger? Naxor's intensity softened, and he tilted his head, long dark hair cascading like an iridescent veil. Fear can be a shackle, Ariana, but love holds within it the power to unlock doors you didn't know existed. His words stirred a longing deep within her, for she had never equated love with profound strength before. Yet doubt rumbled through her like thunder, the resounding clap of uncertainty amidst their hopeful exchange. What if Huxley finds out? What if he uses you against me? A cascade of worst-case scenarios unfolded in her imagination. Then let me shield you from the storm, he promised, eyes locking on hers with an unwavering certainty that sent tremors through her. We eclipse the shadows together, rediscovering the light hidden beneath, or the truth buried in the earth can dissipate into oblivion. I wish you could just explain it to me, everything. She searched his face for answers, feeling the invisible thread between them pull tighter, charged with the electric potential of what could be. I will show you, Naxor said, stepping back, and in a grand motion he waved his hand over the wall of screens, until the holographic map shimmered into a view of the Earth's crust, revealing layers of shifting tiles illuminating vast energy sources. See here? These hotspots tell stories that science has misread. Earth is not just rock and soil, it is alive, cradling a legacy begging to be unveiled. Ariana's heartbeat pounded in rhythm with the holographic pulses. There, beneath layers of societal norms and restrictions, dancing at the edge of reality, lay potential awaiting discovery. Her heart raced as diagrams of glowing conduits spiraled, their mesmerizing patterns emblazoned in vibrant colors against the light of the chamber. What is this? She leaned closer, fingers brushing against the surface as curiosity ignited her scientific zeal. This can change everything. If I publish, if we could, it could unlock energy self-sustainability, even in the most impoverished communities. Exactly. But they will use it for their own gain. Naxor pressed, urgency threading into his tone. The darker forces lurking in your government will seek to suppress it. They will hunt me, and they'll silence you because you possess the light. The flickering glow of those words ignited a warmth within her she had never felt before, a mixture of motivation laced with fear. I can't just abandon everything, she confessed, mind racing with the consequences that would unravel if she embraced this excitement, yet tethered by the reality of her life. A visceral longing intertwined with her sense of self, hovering around her insides and pulsating like a heart filled with a fierce ambition yearning for release. Her gaze remained anchored on Naxor, the weight of his presence almost overwhelming. Here was a force that could thrust her past rejection, one capable of illuminating the very deep-seated feelings of inadequacy that had haunted her. But Huxley, looming like a storm cloud in the back of her consciousness, transformed that fire into something complicated. "He'll never let me go," she whispered, thoughts swirling like leaves tossed in a tempest. "And I can't afford to crack now. Then we are no longer alone. Together, you and I stand as a barrier to what they fear." Naxor stepped forward again, his urgency radiant. "I can show you how to gain access to this knowledge. I can teach you to brace against the darkness of those who wish to oppress the light." In that moment, the world around her faded until it was just them facing each other in a void of possibilities. The magnetic pull between them ignited hope, a tendril of something more profound than mere science or discovery. Could this be a shift? A moment where science and heart intertwined, sparking a deeper understanding? She inhaled deeply, feeling the threads of destiny weaving around her. "I'll do it," she breathed, eyes burning with a mixture of fear and desire. "But we have to be careful. Huxley must not know anything about you, about this." She gestured broadly to the room, the shimmering map, their fates entwined. "If this knowledge is real, if we can harness it, Then we can begin. This is our chance, he affirmed, his dark eyes igniting with conviction. But a shadow flickered across his face, a moment of hesitation. But promise me something, Ariana. Should I expose the truth, it comes with sacrifices, perhaps even your safety. As her resolve fortified, a fleeting moment of doubt danced in Ariana's heart, spicy yet bittersweet. What are we sacrificing, Naxor? What does that mean for us? Naxor paused, as if weighing the enormity of the universe in that very moment. When one stands against the shadows, they may lose their earthly ties, their place of belonging. You might risk everything you hold dear. Ariana held his gaze, heart pounding, as she searched for the courage to leap into the unknown. Perhaps love's true weight was not merely in embrace, but also in the capability to sacrifice for the light hidden within. I understand. Let's do this. Determination surged through her blood, eclipsing the doubt that had dimmed her ambition for too long. As they stood together in a charged silence, Ariana made a promise to herself. She would no longer live tethered by the chains of fear. This would be her journey to reclaim the parts of her spirit buried under years of ridicule. Their first day of probing beneath the surface, flooded with potential and unspoken connection, unfolded toward the horizon of a daring adventure. She could almost taste it, the sweetness of courage woven into the fabric of her life. Little did they know that as their alliance ignited, the shadows of the facility had already started to dance in whispers, eyes watching, waiting to seize the fragile thread of discovery before it unraveled into a revolutionary truth. As Ariana returned to her daily routine amidst the harsh fluorescent lights and relentless deadlines, she felt Naxor's presence linger like a warm embrace. They were no longer merely colleagues in professional disappointment, but allies in forging their destiny. Yet Huxley remained the looming tempest, relentless in his need to control the narrative, looking for weaknesses to exploit against her spirit. The next day, as the sun dipped and painted the skyline in deep oranges and purples, Ariana found herself back in the lab, resolve fueling her actions. She combed through layers of data with relentless ambition, organizing her papers in preparation for Naxor's further teachings. She couldn't give up the physics she loved or the beauty of discovery. She wanted to elevate both science and the heart of it all. With a deft hand, she arranged the arrays of constant angles and trajectories, but the thrill of knowledge faded as a chill crept up her spine. Huxley's footsteps echoed down the corridor like a herald of frost, and she could feel the hairs on her arms prickling in anticipation of their impending encounter. "Good evening, Ariana." "I trust you've been refocusing on what truly matters." Huxley sauntered into view, a smile plastered across his face that only masked malevolence beneath. "We've been under tremendous pressure at the facility. You've been working so hard." Ariana returned a cautious smile, masking the churn of nerves within her. "Yes, just refining some of my research," she replied diplomatically, ever aware of the raptor lurking behind that congenial facade. Huxley leaned closer, scrutinizing her with calculating eyes. "You know, if we are to move forward, you'll need to trust the process. Every breakthrough comes with its costs. I wouldn't want you to stray too far from the path. Ambition can lead to nasty mistakes." "Of course, I appreciate your guidance, Dr. Huxley," she replied, feeling sweat trickle down her back, her pulse quickening. "But it's all part of our goals for the facility. I'm committed to pursuing all intended avenues." "Good," he said lightly, a predatory glint appearing as his gaze drifted momentarily behind her shoulder. "We can't afford any distractions, especially when everything hangs by a thread." The implication lay thick in the air. Every fiber in her body screamed silently to be free of his conviction, but she couldn't reveal the truth, nor shake the chilling grip of his ambition. The contrast between Huxley's smile and the threat written in his gaze was a stark reminder of the stakes they each held. As he departed, an unsettling chill settled deep in her bones. Alone again, she felt the immediate need to connect with Naxor, to articulate the nuances of their exchanged intentions, to unveil the layers of deep-seated fears festering within herself that craved catharsis. Maybe by doing so, she could query the cost of love, intertwined with the burden of truth. On a small desk in the lab, she picked up her phone as she typed out a message to Naxor. "Can we meet again tonight? I need to talk." The reply came almost instantly. An instantaneous affirmation resonated within her. A flicker of warmth amidst the loneliness of the day. "I will wait near the energy chamber. Trust remains the key." With every passing moment, anticipation consumed her. An invitation, a promise of what lay concealed beneath the earth. Beneath it all, a resolve unfaltering swelled within to rise against Huxley's threat and to stand shoulder to shoulder with the mysterious Naxor who could expose her truth. That night, with moonlight spilling through the glass walls of the energy chamber and illuminating her trembling soul, she learned that love was often a wild card, which played beneath dangerous stakes, but needed only a flicker of hope to become incandescent. She inhaled deeply, allowing each step toward the chamber to be steeped in the gravity of the decision she had made, to embrace the unknown, to embrace Naxor, to unlock the truth together. Ariana felt the pulse of excitement beat in rhythm with her heart as she approached the energy chamber, the memories of her earlier conversation with Naxor thrumming through her veins. The transparent walls glimmered under the glow of advanced screening technology, transforming the chamber into something ethereal, a world on the cusp of discovery, where secrets were waiting to be unraveled. Yet with every hurried step toward him, her mind tangled with fears and uncertainties. Dr. Huxley's smile felt like a noose tightening around her neck. Was it paranoia, or did he sense something was off? She had no solid foundation upon which to judge that swell of apprehension. All she knew was that her truth lay intertwined with Naxor's revelations, and there was no turning back now. "Have you arrived?" Naxor's voice, a gentle melody, emerged from the shadows, eyes glowing softly in the moonlit chamber, bringing an overwhelming sense of calm. He stood there, a figure of solid strength against the swirling uncertainties of her life. "I'm here," she breathed, advancing until the space between them pulsed with intensity. "We need to talk about what we're doing." Indeed. He stepped closer, and the warmth radiating from him felt like an electric current mingling with the chill of the night air. "You feel a storm brewing inside you. Speak." She took a deep breath, summoning her courage to unpack layers of her emotional turmoil. "Huxley knows something is off. I feel him watching me, and I can't shake the sense that he's searching for weakness, using my ambition against me." Naxor's brow furrowed slightly, the concern in his eyes swirling with shadows from their first meeting. His ambition leads to destruction. It is shadowy and intent on consuming what it cannot possess. We must act before he finds strength in your vulnerability. "I want this, Naxor," she murmured, resolute yet unsteady. "But if Huxley uncovers our connection, if he discovers you, I'm terrified of the lengths he might go to expose you, to us." "Fear can suffocate," Naxor recited softly, "but love can illuminate the darkest corners of the heart." He reached out, grasping her hand in a firm embrace, grounding her with a tether of warmth. "Together, we can navigate this storm. Our bond is forged from the light. We must not let shadows eclipse our discovery." Ariana squeezed his hand, feelings cascading within her like rushing waters. For too long, she had deferred her dreams, tucked away in the corner of her ambition. Now, standing beside him, the future felt differently alive. Love surged through her, just as enchanting as the radiant energy unveiled by his presence. Whatever shadows loomed, they would face them together. "I want to show you a path," Naxor said, his grip firm. "We can begin uncovering the ancient technology. Tonight, we will experiment and probe deeper into what I've unearthed. With each layer unveiled, we grow stronger." Ariana nodded, heart racing with the thrill of discovery. "Let's go. Show me everything." They made their way to the central hub of the energy chamber, where holographic projections wove intricate patterns that danced in the air, mimicking cosmic alignments. As the lights flickered from the projections, Naxor gestured toward an elaborate structure nestled within the digital realm, a luminescent core pulsating with raw energy. "This," Naxor began, "is an ancient civilization's blueprint, a map leading to the heart of Earth's energy sources. It has been hidden for eons, buried beneath the weight of dismissive hands carrying misconceptions." Every word of his infused excitement surged through Ariana, igniting the scientific fervor within her. She leaned closer to the projection, studying the roots marked across glittering surfaces that spilled over with untapped potential. "This could be revolutionary," she exclaimed, her voice thick with awe. "Harnessing this energy could solve so many global crises. Power to the disenfranchised, clean energy, no more poverty or scarcity." Naxor's eyes flickered with enthusiasm equally radiant. "Precisely. But we must tread lightly, for if Huxley discovers our path, he will squander this knowledge for self-gain. Let his ambition destroy us both." Ariana felt a swell of determination, steadying her grip on their shared goal. "Then we do this together, in secrecy. Let us unlock the truths of what's hidden." As they bent over the holographic projection, fingers dancing over the screens, Naxor directed her attention to specific nodes glowing in magnificent hues. These markings indicate portals buried within the Earth. They can transport energy from the depths to the surface without erosion or waste. "Portals," Ariana echoed, excitement bubbling in her chest. Each node felt like a sweetheart's promise, leading them into a future of potential. "Are they still active?" "They could be," Naxor said, his gaze intense. "But these locations are not merely jump points. They hold the resonance of the Earth's heartbeat. They must be understood before interaction. One misstep, and we risk awakening dormant forces." With her mind racing, Ariana flicked through the projections, captivated by the strings of possibilities, twisting like the veins of nature, all interconnected, a network thriving unseen beneath the surface. "What can we do now?" "Test the readings with small probes, collect data," he instructed, the brilliance in his eyes igniting more than just the energy of their ambitions, but that pulse of burgeoning love binding them together as they swept deeper into exploration. Ariana found herself lost in Naxor's fervor, tethered to his ambition, which mirrored her own. For hours, they set to work, testing, examining energy passages, their movements laden with magnetic energy. Each time their hands brushed, an electric current surged through both, igniting heat and longing, overshadowing the looming threats of Huxley's ambition, like a lover's whisper wrapped around whispered fears. As the clock ticked past midnight, spent yet exhilarated, they paused. Naxor turned, his presence fervent against the backdrop of stars diffusing throughout the scattered screens. "Tonight holds an allure, doesn't it? That glimpse of a person's yet to unfold." Ariana nodded, heart pounding in her chest as she stepped closer. "It does. I've never felt anything like this, Naxor. Sometimes I wish I could just float away, lose myself in discovery, and abandon everything. You've opened my eyes." Yet discovery is bittersweet, Naxor reflected quietly, gaze piercing through to her soul. Awakening such depths has consequences. It places you at risk, Ariana. His words wrapped around her, but she could feel the truth deep down. This was her path, a shared destiny interwoven with the secrets of the earth and the light they navigated together. We'll face what comes, Naxor, together. In that moment, with the intensity of desire dancing along the edges of their burgeoning connection, Naxor pulled her closer. Their breaths mingled, and she felt every charged pulse between them, electrifying yet gentle, compelling yet vulnerable. As he leaned in, closing the distance, Ariana could almost hear their hearts whispering promises of something greater than they had ever known before. But just as Naxor's lips brushed against hers, the door of the energy chamber burst open with a jarring crack, each sound echoing like thunder in a storm. Huxley appeared, flanked by a handful of government agents, eyes glinting with opportunistic malice. "Ariana!" he bellowed, indignation thick in his tone. "What have you done here?" Caught in a whirlwind of shock and alarm, Ariana's heart dropped, the momentary beauty of connection evaporating into dense reality. "Dr. Huxley," she stammered, stepping back from Naxor, the punctured air thick with tension. "Silence!" he barked, surveying the chamber as if it were a leading suspect. "I expected better from you. Working after hours with an alien?" His eyes narrowed, a sadistic smile twitching at his lips. "You really thought I wouldn't notice?" I was just running some checks on the data. We've made meaningful progress," she stuttered, desperation lacing her voice. "There's potential here." Huxley's scoff echoed through the vast chamber, laughter tinged with something venomous. "Potential? I'll tell you what I see. Mischief and betrayal. You have no idea the game you're playing." "No," Naxor said firmly, stepping forward, radiating raw power. "What we are doing is uncovering truths hidden by your kind. You can't silence this." Dr. Huxley's smile faltered for a moment, and he regained composure quickly, as if infuriated by Naxor's presence and resilience. "You're a fool, alien. You think you can survive under our laws? I will not allow this knowledge to fall into the hands of a creature like you, no matter how charming." Ariana felt a chill. Watching the adversarial dynamic unfold, she realized that Huxley could obliterate everything she hoped to achieve, could destroy the very essence of their fragile connection. But she wouldn't allow it. "I won't let you intimidate either of us. This knowledge must be shared." Huxley's face contorted with rage. "You think screaming half-truths will elevate your standing? My power is far greater than yours will ever be." As adrenaline raced through her, Ariana stepped between Naxor and Huxley. "I won't stand down. I won't be your pawn any longer." Her heart beat with fierce conviction as shadows danced within the room, woven against destiny like the threads of love ignited through the darkness. With a flick of his wrist, Huxley signaled for his agents to close in around them, the light glimmering off their suits, cankers around the fragile flame that ignited hope. "You'll regret this. You're both out of your depth, and I will bury you." "Naxor, go!" Ariana shouted, panic seeping into her bones. "Don't let them!" But Naxor's gaze held steady, determination etched in ancient resolve. "I will not yield to fear." Thunder cracked as tension seeped into the air, an immovable barrier against the dark, light against shadows. Huxley advanced, but their world spun in a flurry of chaos, And suddenly, without warning, Naxor stretched forth his arms, a cascade of ethereal light erupting from his body, engulfing them in blinding radiance. Ariana shielded her eyes, gasping as strands of luminescence split the darkness around them. Huxley and his agent stuttered backward, dazed and terrified, their mouths agape in disbelief as the power surged, undulating through the room like rippling waves of raw potential. "Take cover!" Ariana cried, feeling the surge course within, vibrating beneath her skin, awakening something profound inside her, a blending of energy, a beckoning from Earth's core, urging them to rise above despair. It urged her to create a bridge, a shattering of shackles tethering them to their past. Suddenly, an all-consuming calm flooded Ariana's consciousness as she locked eyes with Naxor amid the chaos, his energy igniting something inexplicable inside her. "I trust you," she yelled, confidence coursing through her voice like wildflowers breaking through soil. "Harness it," Naxor breathed, pouring his essence into the light expanding around them. "With this connection, we can unleash energy that has been squandered." As it pulsed, a collective realization surged. Within their intertwined destinies lay an awakening that could change everything, initiating the unraveling of governmental control concealed beneath millennia of secrets. In that transcendent moment, all fears slipped away, leaving only the shimmering imaginations of a hope-filled future. With a frantic surge, light exploded outward, pulsing against Huxley's forces, brightening the darkness, bright as the stars shining above them. The chamber filled with a radiating energy that swept away despair, smothering the menacing threat Huxley's power had once held. Amidst the brilliance, a sense of liberation enveloped her. This was no longer about merely discovering knowledge, it was about raising their voices together against the silence imposed by fear. She took Naxor's hand tightly in hers, anchoring herself as their bond coalesced into a burning star, lighting a path through the murky shadows spiraled around their destiny. In that moment, with purpose and love intertwining in a tether stronger than anything they had known before, Ariana made a vow, a promise to protect the truth beneath, to illuminate the hidden chambers of Earth and reveal the light of their love against the entrapments that had silenced their hearts. As the cascade of energy wrapped around them, Huxley's threats faded, eclipsed by the power of love born from connection, the spark that ignited their resistance against the darkness weaving through their fates. United, they would harness this truth, also understanding that their greatest risk lay not within the explosive energy held in their palms, but within the bond woven amidst the chaos, a bond that thrived against all odds, ignited by the heart's tenacity. And as they burst through the confines of the energy chamber, hearts racing toward the future unknown, Ariana embraced the wild possibilities that lay beyond, knowing she would never again relinquish her voice. Together, she and Naxor would weave the unknown, interlocking the powers of their spirits to imprint a legacy forged through love. Knowing now that sometimes standing against the darkness meant discovering the light within themselves. Resilience interlaced with desire surged through Ariana as she and Naxor stepped into the chaotic aftermath of the energy chamber. The air crackled with residual energy, the echoes of their confrontation fading into the background. Faced with the consequences of their revelation, she felt the weight of the world shift. Huxley's voice had been a specter of intimidation. Now that specter had been vanquished by the raw power they had harnessed. "We must move quickly," Naxor urged, his expression intense as he scanned the labyrinthine corridors of the facility. A fortress that had once felt like prison walls, now seeming like a labyrinth of opportunity and escape. "The authorities will not remain passive following what happened tonight." Ariana nodded, an electric thrill racing through her. What do we do next? Can we... can we really reveal this to the world? The exhilaration coursing through her was laced with fear, the duality of hope and uncertainty swirling within her like tempestuous seas. The world was unprepared for what they had unearthed, but they could not deny its existence. With every step, her heart drummed in sync with her ambition. "We prepare," Naxor said, a hint of fierce determination brightening his eyes. "We gather resources from the deep, unravel the technology hidden within the earth. We will expose the very banishment of knowledge that has stifled progress." "And Huxley?" Ariana pressed, the lurking fear of their imminent confrontation stinging her thoughts. "He won't give up that easily. He'll come after us." "Yes, but he is blinded by arrogance," Naxor responded, confidence unwavering. "If we act swiftly, we can leverage his ignorance to our advantage. He underestimates the potential of what he seeks to control." As they navigated the sterile corridors, the weight of secrecy lay heavy on their shoulders. The thrill of touching the precipice of revelation ignited a brief golden ambition within them, a desire swollen with risk and adventure. Once in a secluded quiet zone, the stark white walls felt almost intimidating. The shadows of doubt still loomed over Ariana, reflecting her inner turmoil about what lay ahead. "This knowledge could change humanity," she murmured, wonder bleeding into an acute awareness of responsibility. "People are going to have questions. They'll need proof." "Then we shall give it to them," Naxor replied, his gaze anchored on her, piercing yet tender. "Your world demands evidence, and we will provide it. But we must be aware. Wielding power comes with the cost of sacrifice." "What kind of sacrifice?" she dared to ask, stepping closer to him, the tension fraught with unspoken emotions. "Sacrifice of comfort, security, possibly the heart?" Naxor murmured, drawing closer as he gently brushed his fingertips against hers, his touch igniting heat and longing, reminding her that this connection had transcended the barriers of status and species. "The risk lies in bearing your truth to a world unprepared." Ariana felt the pull of something profound in his words, reflected through the rhythm of their shared pulse, a heartbeat resonating in harmony. "I'm willing to stand for it. I want the world to know, Naxor." Their resolved glances held the promise of shared purpose, an unshakable bond, scarred yet steadfast. As they prepared for their next steps, Naxor took her hand tightly, grounding her. "Together we rise." They emerged cautiously into the larger space of the facility, aware of the lurking dangers gripping the air. They were swift, maneuvering through dimly lit corridors until they reached an auxiliary lab filled with research materials and equipment. Frantically, they began organizing their findings, setting up a plan to procure proof of their cosmic secrets embedded deeper within the Earth. Ariana's heart raced as the data illuminated her screen, weaving trajectories of light onto the holographic interface, mapping out the structures below. With every key press, they unearthed the depth and intricacy hidden just beneath their feet, the secrets that could transcend an era, a testament to unity and shared dreams. But as excitement surged, shadows lurked behind them. The walls that once felt invulnerable now felt thin. Huxley's threat loomed large, an unseen predator stalking them. "We need to find a way to access the core directly," she said, the thrill of knowledge and urgency coiling around her. "That's where we can harness the ancient energy." "Yes," Naxor replied, nodding, "but there are conduits we must access with caution. We seek a conduit that will guide us to the heart, to this ancient power resting beneath." They began piece together a map, positioning potential entry points while piecing together algorithms through the holographic web that illuminated their workspace. Each dot on the screen felt like destiny colliding with ambition, intertwined in an indescribable force propelling them forward. Suddenly, a chaos of voices erupted from the hallway just outside. Panic surged through Ariana. She sensed the hasty footsteps and authoritative voices drawing near. "They're coming," she hissed, eyes wide. Every instinct told her they had been tracked and Huxley's agents were closing in. "Stay low," Naxor commanded, pulling her behind a panel of equipment, his presence instantly calming as he shielded her from view. The rustle outside made Ariana's heart thunder in her chest. Their world had morphed into a battleground, the line between existence and extinction unraveling in ways she'd never imagined. "We can't be found," she whispered urgently, fear whirlpooling within her. "Not now, not when we're so close." "They will search for us, but they cannot perceive our bond," he murmured, the rhythmic thrum of his voice shielding her from their encroaching fear. "We are stronger than they suspect. We'll find a way to disrupt their pursuit." As the footsteps drew closer, Ariana gripped his hand, apprehensive yet elated by the unwavering warmth coursing through their connection. "What can we do? What if they discover the truth?" Naxor's gaze hardened, the intensity of his alien resolve illuminating the cool light of the lab. "Then we imbue them with the truth, strike first. I may have the power to create a diversion." "A diversion," she echoed, her heart beating with anticipation. "How?" "They do not expect the authenticity of power. I can shift energy fields to disorient the space around us," he explained, eyes shimmering with resolve. "We will redirect their pursuit away from us. We must move swiftly." "I trust you," she affirmed, feeling the combination of fear and excitement intertwining like strands of luminous energy. "Let's do this." With one final glance between them, filling the silent air with unyielding determination, Naxor stepped into the center of the lab, summoning brilliance from his essence. The moment he began, the room came alive with rippling waves of energy, shifting the air like a deep, resonating tide. Ariana felt the energy coalesce around her, a protective barrier stirring with ethereal light. She held her breath as the movement transformed the space into a blur. Shadows danced around them, dissipating into enigmatic pools of luminescence. "Now!" Naxor commanded, eyes fixed with determination, and instinctively she dove into the storm of light, trusting the force binding them both. Together, they erupted into shimmering brilliance, and the world blurred around them, light bending and twisting, leading them into the unfathomable. Streams of ethereal light enveloped them, revealing the unfolding brilliance as if they were sparkling seeds taking root in an untouched soil, scattering hope across the divide. Naxor's power felt potent, alive. It coursed through Ariana like flashing currents, igniting every nerve and sinew within as she felt weightless, breaking free from the fears unraveling inside her. They emerged at the edge of the facility into an expansive lower level, wind rushing through the shafts, welcoming them like freed souls. But Huxley's agents would not relent. Their fury had been stirred, and shadows swarmed, chasing the sparks of their escape. Heart racing, Ariana followed Naxor's lead as they darted across the corridor, fueled by adrenaline. "This way," Naxor called, nudging her toward the indents in the walls leading to the depths. Hidden beneath the surface, they tore through the labyrinth of utility corridors, uncovering passageways not intended for human eyes. Cables and wires snaked around them, wrapped like gnarled roots, holding potential beyond comprehension. "Over here!" Ariana exclaimed, guiding them toward a dilapidated exit that faded into the shadows. "This could lead to a nearby cavern system. If we can access it, we might find a way to tap into the energy sources before Huxley's agents find us." They plunged ahead, and Naxor's energy resonated around them, emitting warmth and shields against the brewing storm of pursuit. But Ariana could feel the weight of time pressing down on them. They needed to reach the depths that primate corridors hid. A heavy door creaked open, splintering the walls of darkness, spilling into a crude path illuminated by an eerie glow. Inside, natural lights pulsed through layers of iridescent rock that sparkled with an otherworldly luminance. "This is it!" Ariana gasped, awe consuming her as she took in the magnificent cavern, a breathtaking oasis of alien beauty intertwined with dreams of civilizations long past. "The energy here, it's incredible!" "Yes," Naxor nodded, the intensity radiating from him eclipsed by the blooming energy around them. "We have unlocked hidden potential. Now it is our moment to harness it." But the reverberation of footsteps grew closer, ripples of anticipation coiling around them like smoke. The muffled voices called out into the void, echoing like thunderheads preparing for stormy skies above. They could not afford delay. "Let them come," Naxor declared confidently, positioning himself beside her as if forming a barrier. "This energy calls to us, to you. Tap into it." Ariana felt her heart race as she stepped deeper into the glowing cavern's embrace. A pulsating rhythm resonated through her with every heartbeat, merging with Naxor's energy. It was a fusion of purpose and potential, amplified beyond measure. The walls thrummed with heat, igniting her spirit and pushing aside the doubts that clung to the corners of her mind. With trembling hands, she reached out, allowing her essence to blend with the energy rippling through the cavern. She could feel threads of power wrapping around her fingers, echoing a call from the Earth's very core, unveiling the embers of untapped secrets longing for release. "Do not hesitate, Ariana," Naxor encouraged, his voice a soothing current amid the whirlwind of emotions. "Embrace it." As the energy coursed through her veins, a spark ignited, a flame of knowledge entwining with a lover's promise. This was her moment to stand against Huxley's oppression and reclaim the heart that longed to break free. With each pulse, her resolve deepened until she felt infinite, bold enough to transcend boundaries that kept her confined. The air around them shimmered and shifted, bending in ways unimaginable as the cavern's energy began to respond to her urgency and determination. Rich hues danced in the darkness, enveloping their forms, as Ariana guided the flow to draw strength from the womb of the earth itself. Every breath surged with the power to change destinies, unraveling what had been shackled beneath years of oppression. In that moment of harmonious union, she reached out to Naxor, feeling his presence merge with her own. "Together," she whispered, and he nodded, eyes alight with fierce determination as they tapped into the energy cascading through the cavern. With a swift movement, they summoned forth streams of light, weaving towards one another, a collective heartbeat embodying the very essence of discovery and love. But as vibrations filled the air, the door to the cavern groaned violently, their safety beginning to fracture as agents surged forward. Huxley's face sneered at them through the glow, a silhouette of anger and arrogance swimming on the shadow's edge. "Enough," he barked, wine-dark urgency radiating from him, toxic intent sprawling outwards. "You'll clear this madness or suffer the consequences." "Not anymore," Naxor growled, a thunderous pulse igniting behind the energy swirling around them. "You're right. It is time for us to expose the truth beneath the lies," Ariana proclaimed, voice firm and emboldened as the energy crested in fervor, driven by the power of possibility intertwined with the freedom of love. "Think you can just escape? I will destroy this," Huxley spat, eyes snapping with intent, abysses swirling around him, a veritable tempest contained within one man. but the convergence of love, energy, and bravery condensed around them, a luminous barrier weaving against the ever-encroaching shadows. She had nothing left to lose. All she had was worth fighting for, the truth beneath layers of desolation that the world needed to see. "Are you ready?" she asked, turning toward Naxor, heart racing with a blend of fierce resolve and raw vulnerability, glimpsing her purpose intertwine with his. "Yes," he said, that pulse within him echoing a commitment deeper than either could fathom. They leaned into the light, and the cavern erupted, energy surging through walls as they summoned forth the raw potential of a world yet unwritten. Huxley stumbled back as the luminous barrier encased them. A swirling storm of celestial energy exploded outward, a hypnotic display of colors and vigor illuminating the darkness. "Stop!" Huxley cried, but his voice was consumed by the kaleidoscope of brilliance, the cacophony of controlled chaos igniting beneath their feet, as the cavern awakened, shrieking into life. In that moment, as beams of light shot skyward, the world felt as though it held its breath, a turning point shimmering amid the chaos. Together, they had embraced the power they unearthed as the energy spiraled into a blinding vortex around them. When the light finally dimmed and settled, layers of secrecy unveiled like petals in bloom, revealing truths long buried, radially branching towards the edge of discovery. Huxley collapsed to the ground in shock, the agents caught in a luminous web, suffocated by disbelief. Voices erupted outside the cavern, bewildered murmurs transforming into tumultuous cries of awe. The world was shifting. Ariana's heart soared as Naxor pulled her close, brimming with exhilarating energy coursing between them. This moment was their rebirth, a promise of intimacy that had once felt daunting, now emerged as sweet relief, unearthed in the chaos of pursuing their truth. "Together," Naxor echoed softly, pulling her closer as they surrendered to the tide of newfound freedom, light cascading around them. "Together," she agreed, their fingers entwined like vines, reaching for the untrodden paths lying ahead, embers of hope illuminating the valleys birthed from another world. Their bond fortified became devotion, emboldened by courage, forging a deeper connection with each heartbeat. As they emerged from the shimmering light, the shadows of those who had stifled their light transformed, morphing into an opportunity for collective awakening. Here lay love's power, shining brightly. Their truth began advocating for all those voices silenced by oppression. Ariana Patel and Naxor stood as beacons of hope against all odds, representing the expansive potential for a world united through love, radiating truth across the cosmos, and ushering in a future no longer bound by the darkness they had once endured. In that moment, they realized the heart of Earth, tasked as both protector and witness, would now ignite a revolution, a charge of fearless connection that would pave the way for a brighter dawn, illuminating paths toward a destiny that entwined with love, vulnerability, and resilience. Free from the shackles that had defined them, each step forward represented a promise, the possibility to unveil hidden truths, rekindle fragments of connection long lost, and heal broken worlds together. With hands intertwined and resolve solid as rock, Ariana and Naxor ventured forth into their entwined destiny, indomitable against the darkness and ready to embrace whatever visions awaited them at the heart of the earth. Ariana Patel's breath quickened as she stood in the heart of the secret NASA facility, watching in awe as the air around her shimmered with a swirling cloud of ethereal light. The glow brightened until it enveloped her completely, choking out her own thoughts with its brilliance. Then, from within the luminous haze, emerged Naxor. His striking copper skin gleamed against the harsh fluorescent lights, his dark eyes holding a depth that felt impossibly ancient. In that moment, beneath the weight of the world's skepticism and doubt, her life fractured open, revealing the impossible. "Are you ready to understand what lies beneath your feet?" he asked, his voice a melodic pulse that resonated within her very soul. Wait, before the next revelation unfolds. If this story has already captured your heart, let us know where you're following from. To ensure you don't miss unexpected twists, emotional reconciliations, or new beginnings, subscribe and stay connected. Now, back to the story. Ariana wiped a stray tear from her cheek, a mix of wonder and disbelief. In her 5 years at NASA, buried beneath reams of data and drowning under the weight of judgment from her colleagues, she dared only to dream of this moment, brushing those visions aside out of necessity. Yet now, here was Naxor, a reminder that life refused to follow the mundane tracks she had long since accepted. The societal barriers she'd faced as a single woman in a male-dominated field felt like chains. But Naxor radiated an energy that invited her to break free, to embrace the thrill of the unknown. "What do you mean? What lies beneath?" she managed to ask, her heart racing with a mix of trepidation and excitement. He gestured toward a hidden world, and she felt a magnetic pull toward him, drawn by the mystery and warmth that danced in his gaze. "Earth holds secrets you cannot yet fathom. The core hides more than you have ever been told. Technologies, truths the government has buried deep along with old bones." A shiver coursed through her, excitement mingled with dread. Ariana swallowed hard, thinking of the cold skepticism that had turned her dreams into faint echoes. "Why me?" "Because, Ariana," Naxor said softly, stepping closer until their hands almost touched. "Your heart beats in sync with the pulse of those secrets. You have the spirit of a seeker, and only together can we reveal them." His proximity sent a shock through her, sparking something she didn't dare to name. But as quickly as that warmth blossomed, another fear crept in. She was bound to the very institution that had dismissed her potential, and she could lose everything if she chose to pursue this extraordinary path with an alien being. Her mind flashed to Dr. Malcolm Huxley, her charismatic boss who had long held a nebulous power over her, his ambitions cloaked in the guise of mentorship. Revealing Naxor could alter her life in ways she couldn't predict. Would she risk it all for something that couldn't possibly last? "You must promise to keep this secret," she said, suddenly aware of the potential danger around them. "If anyone finds out—" "Then we will not allow them to," Naxor interrupted, his tone resolute, yet his expression softened, transmitting a vulnerability that matched her own. "I have journeyed through galaxies to come here, to share what I know. You could change everything." Ariana hesitated, heart racing, as the weight of her reality collided with the allure of the possibilities stretching out before her like a vast unexplored map. Just then, the heavy door to the lab creaked open, thick with authority. Its defining shape was unmistakable. Dr. Huxley strode in, his confident presence instantly diminishing the magic of the moment. A chill slithered down Ariana's spine as she swiveled her gaze between Naxor's enigmatic warmth and Huxley's predatory curiosity. "What are we discussing, Ariana?" Huxley demanded, those sharp eyes gleaming like polished knives. "Just the latest research findings," she stumbled, a pit forming in her stomach as he moved closer, taking in the alien presence just outside her personal space. "Interesting." He scrutinized Naxor, then turned his gaze back to Ariana, a knowing smirk on his lips. "I hope you've been taking good notes. We can't have distractions when there's work to be done." Right, work, she murmured, feeling the tension fraying like a taut string. Even now, Huxley reminded her of the dismissive doubts of her colleagues and the weight of their gazes that had forced her to bury her dreams beneath a mountain of studies and paperwork. Once Huxley left, the air felt oppressively dense, silencing the flickering hope inside her. "Tell me more about the secrets beneath," Ariana urged Naxor, clutching tightly to the sliver of excitement that remained. "What do you know? What must be done?" "Follow me," Naxor beckoned, leading her deep into the maze of the facility. The walls pulsed with energy, heightening her senses as they delved into the abyss of the building. They entered an observation chamber where the air hummed with the possibility of discovery. It felt sacred, inviting. "What's hidden here?" she whispered, peering into the expanse of the lab. Diagrams floated on screens before her, intricate patterns more beautiful than anything she could conjure from her own calculations. "They represent fissures," Naxor said, his voice echoing softly in the vast room. "They lead to the heart of your Earth, where power lays dormant, untapped because it's so carefully concealed by the world above." Ariana's heart thudded with excitement. What if this is true? What if this could help us tackle the climate crisis, the energy shortages? The rush of hope pushed away the burden she carried. Naxor's gaze was steady, filled with empathy and understanding. "It can, but there are forces that thrive on keeping this knowledge hidden. If we are to uncover it, it cannot be alone. I'll need you, your brilliance, your courage." "I want to," she breathed, feeling overwhelmed by the burgeoning connection between them, a thread uniting their disparate worlds. Yet lingering doubts clawed at her. "But Huxley, he has resources. He'll try to claim this for himself, manipulate it for power." "Then he must not know," Naxor said, stepping closer. "He is a man of the shadows. We must move silently, together." Ariana edged closer, heart racing at the revelation that came with his words. Could she truly align herself with this mysterious force who saw her for who she really was? As she gazed into his shimmering eyes, an understanding formed. There was potential for something deeper than the science spiraling around them, a connection that defied explanation, yet felt undeniable. But as the echoes of Huxley's ambition loomed over, they also cast shadows over the fragile hope, weaving around her mind like a tightly knit web. The fear that incited her curiosity began swirling into something that could be devastating for both her and Naxor. Would revealing his existence lock her away, sealed by societal and professional confines? Or could it open the door to an entirely different life? Ariana stood frozen in a whirlwind of emotions, teetering on the precipice of a life-altering decision. Her mind raced with visions of her previous encounters with Huxley, the recklessness of ambition cloaked in charm, his drive to dominate the discoveries of others, including her own. She had heard the whispers among her colleagues, the doors he could open or close, the legs of favor he could extend or snap in.